Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lon Hairdle. If you haven't noticed, my hair is long. I've been wanting to go to the barbers or something, but it's quarantine. I'm kind of thinking I want to grow my hair out, while I'm not seeing anybody or anything. But I'm not really sure what I want to do with it. Anybody in the chat anybody watching who has long hair, any guys who have long hair, let me know what you do with it. I don't really want a ponytail because I don't think I really. No, it's not my thing. I was thinking about getting a bandana, not like a bandana that goes over your head, but one that keeps it out of out of your face. And you just tie around the back. It's maybe not quite my style, but I was just thinking about it. Now you might be wondering, back to the topic at hand, why we're looking at a 404 error page. So before this video, which is on stage striking in Tekken, and if you don't know what stage striking is, I will tell you in just a moment. I was going to download the Tekken World Tour rule set, the rulebook, to re-educate myself and to give you something to look at while I'm nattering on. But we've got this 404 error page, and for some reason the rulebook has been taken down, or it's expired. I highly doubt it's expired. I think it's been taken down intentionally, and it's very possible this could be to do with the announcement that's happening a little bit later on. The announcement that Mr. Harada-san and Okubo, I think the Soul Calibur guy, and whoever the Guilty Gear guy is, they're all doing a group announcement together. I'm going to be restreaming that, by the way, on my YouTube, so keep an eye on that. 1 a.m. British summertime, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'll start streaming quarter an hour beforehand, and we'll see how it goes. It could be a bit of fun. But yeah, I wanted to do a little off the cuff, as you can tell, little video, educational and analytical video on a topic that has been I've been thinking about for quite some time, and that's stage striking in Tekken. So for those of you guys who don't know what the current Tekken World Tour rule set is, which is what I wanted to have on stream on the screen right now. Basically, the idea is that in the first game, you random select the stage in your typical Tekken World Tour first to 2, and then the loser will either stage pick or character pick. They only get to do one. They either get to keep their current character and stage pick to play the character at their optimal stage, optimal scenario, or they can swap character but then take the risk of the stage not being quite so ideal. And it's definitely not a bad rule set in the sense that it gives the player a very thoughtful decision to make, right? Obviously, do you keep a character or do you swap and select the stage that is best for your character to give you a tactical advantage, or do you try and play a different matchup but take a risk on the stage or whatever? And it's really fine at the moment. I don't think there's really much of a problem with it, but I think it could be better. And the reason why I think it could be better is because of the random select on the first game. So say, myself, I'm an Elisa player. I like infinite stages because I like being able to take advantage of my character's movement, creating with punishing opportunities, etc. So say I'm fighting against a Hawaiian player, for example, and this Hawaiian player is a really strong player, and his name is Jamis, as a random example, right? So I'm fighting Mr. Jamis, Hawaiian player. He obviously likes the walls. He also likes, in particular, balcony breaks because he can get an overhead kick to guarantee plasma blade after a balcony break, no matter at what point it is in the stage. Get a really nice damage advantage on that. Hawaiian basically bumps up a tier on balcony break stages if he can take advantage of it, which of course is a big if. It's very I forget the exact word, but it's very situational. It's not like a guaranteed thing. It's like a very sharp point in the sense of the game. In terms of it's like a sort of MacGuffin in the sense that whoever gets a balcony break could potentially close around, and it adds a lot of instability in the sense of who could theoretically be better in that matchup, right? So the problem with a random select is that whichever stage comes up first can greatly vary the outcome of the first game, and in return the whole set, right? So if it's random select and it's an infinite stage, then I'm laughing, right? I'm in a really good spot. I can use my movement against Orian's mix-ups. If he gets a really small balcony stage like Jungle Outpost, then he's laughing because he can just carry me to the wall whenever. He can pressure me at the wall. We can get the balcony break for huge damage, and it's more statistically more likely I will lose if the first stage is Jungle Outpost. So that's what I don't like about the current rule set, is that it adds a little bit of variance to the meta, to the game, the competitive game. And variance is not something you want in a competitive game. Of course, there are games like poker where variance is really like, it's the whole game. You play the odds, right? And that is a thing you can do in the stage picks, people joke about infinite stages coming up more often than they should in random. I think it's just a placebo, personally. I think since they fixed it anyway, since they fixed the ratio, I think it's a placebo that infinites come up more than they statistically should. It's like 3 in 26 or something like that, 18% roughly. So if you pick a character if you lose your first game and you decide to pick a character, it's better to pick a character that is better with the walls, because you're statistically more likely to get a walled stage, right? Let me just think. So that's the current situation right now. I think it could be better because of that rule there, because whoever gets the tactical advantage on the first game is more likely to win. Now, there's not really sure what you can do about that, but let's take a look at a competitive game that has done something about that, and that is Smash Brothers. Now, there's a lot of people who, some people, some vocal minority probably, who think Smash Bros is not a competitive fighting game. They laugh at it. I think those are the same people who think the main man is a good Tekken player. That's a joke. That's a joke. The main man, Sui, is not a better Tekken player. If you actually wanted to take tournaments seriously, I think it could do pretty well. But nonetheless, I want to take you to the Melee rule set, right? Now, this is for the Big House, which is a really big tournament, yearly, I believe, tournament in the Smash theme for Smash Melee, Smash Ultimate. Ultimate has a very similar rule set, but I just wanted to show you Melee's because it's a little more simple. So let's take a look. So let's ignore this. Let's ignore the doubles. This is what you want to focus on, the stage list, right? Now, Smash is a little bit different because Smash has ledges, which, for characters with jumps, some characters have multiple jumps, right? Like Kirby, for example, one of the best characters in Melee, has like 5 or 6 jumps. Is a very floaty character, likes ledges because it gives Kirby more safety, right? I believe. I'm not a Melee player. But that's a basic premise, and then Fox players like Final Destination because it's a completely open stage. He can wave dash and move around like crazy, or whatever the hell Fox does, I don't know. But that's the basic set, and then you've got this counter pick, right? So let's take a look at just these first 3 details here. Stage striking. Players eliminate stages from the neutral stage list until there is 1 stage remaining. The player who strikes first may be determined by rock, paper, scissors. The winning player strikes the first stage. Right, so say it's a Kirby player who wins, they'll probably strike Final Destination, right? Because they don't want to play on that stage. Then the other player strikes 2 stages. So Fox player might strike, I don't know which stages have the most amount of ledges. I think Yoshi's Story, I don't know. But they'd strike whichever ones allow Kirby to move around the most, right? And then the final player will strike 1 more stage and the remaining stages used, so they may basically get to pick between the last 2 stages. And then after that, we go on the second rule, stage ban. So after each game of the set, before counter picking, the player who won the previous game may ban 1 stage from the stage list. The rule is not in effect for best of 5 sets. For Melee specifically, stage bans affect both players, meaning players who banned a stage may not counterpick the stage themselves later in the set. Okay. So that basically means if you ban Final Destination, you can't pick Final Destination later on. I don't know why you would, but it's just kind of there, just for the sake of not weirdness, I suppose. So basically, to boil that down, one player will get to choose the stage. There's a lot of their stages in Melee that are legal. That should be said, because there's a lot more volatility in some of Melee's stages, some really crazy stuff, which is why some people make a joke about eliminating 60+% of the stages to make it a competitive fighting game. But that's another conversation altogether. Let's just focus on what they've done. Now, there's people joke that Melee players and like to complain about stuff, but the good thing about complaining a lot is that you come up with very stringent rules. And anyway, it's not like complaining about rules and whatever else is completely unknown in the world of competitive sports. Look at chess players. God. Anyway, getting back to the matter at hand. So looking at this rule set, basically, one player will get to pick the stage from, two stages that are relatively, the most normal stages in the sense, the ones that are less, handicapped towards certain characters, right? So you're probably not going to play on Final Destination first game against, if it's Kirby versus Fox or whatever, right? You probably play that later on. So, it's a neutral stage. This isn't something you can really do in Tekken, because in Tekken there are 3 infinite stages and that's it. And then you have your wall stages of different sizes. You have balcony breaks, you have your MacGuffins, wall breaks, floor break, whatever, right? It's not really something you can do in Tekken in the sense of this part here, the stage bans, right? Banning certain stages after the first game. I think that overcomplicates the matter a little bit, and besides, it's not like Tekken players really think about the depths of stage picking too much in great detail. Players with good movement will pick infinite stages. Players with walls will pick their favourite wall stage. Maybe if they've got good wall carry, they'll pick a bigger stage. If they like wall pressure, they'll pick a smaller stage, whatever else, right? And then there's Mardic players who will pick the floor break stage, but not actually know the optimal floor breaks. Anyway, if guys, after this video, learn your goddamn floor break juggles, please. I'm begging you. If I see another Mardic player or Geese player, whatever else, pick a floor break stage and not actually do the optimal floor break juggles, I'm gonna go crazy. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. So, looking at this, I think what we can take away from it that could be potentially good for the Tekken competitive game is the stage striking. Obviously, there aren't only 6 competitive stages in Tekken. Every stage is competitive because there's no reason for them not to be. They don't add enough variance to justify banning the stage. Some people talked about potentially banning Howard Estate, but I think because of course it does greatly vary, just greatly give advantage to certain characters like Julia or Geese, who can just completely juggle the player to death. But it's very situational for that to happen, and it's very possible, statistically, just as likely for no walls to be broken as all the walls to be broken, right? It's a level of instability in that sense. So I don't think there's really much of a justification, and it's not like Tekken is really that sold of a game that you need to get to that point to talk about that kind of thing, right? It's not like chess where every single game, where 50% plus of Grandmaster games get drawn or whatever, right? So I don't think you need to ban stages or let the winner of the previous game ban a stage from the stages or whatever. Besides, if you did that, they ban one infinite stage and then they just go to the other infinite stage, right? Or you just ban all the infinite stages and then the Elisa player can't pick an infinite stage. That's not really great, right? So I think the main thing we can take away from this is in the first game, the stage striking, right? Because that removes the variance from the random select in the first stage. What that would mean is that you wouldn't get to see a lot of the middle ground stages, right? You wouldn't get to see your Twilight Conflict so much. You wouldn't get to see your, whatever middle ground stages are, right? Between the long walls and the short walls, right? Between your souks and your abandoned temples. You wouldn't get to see those quite so much if you have this rule. I don't think that's a huge deal. I think you could still steer it with character swaps and random stage select. I think that's fine. And I think that rule in itself is fine as well. Because it adds a sense of tension. I don't mind the variance when it's up to the player to decide if they want to take that variance or not, right? In the first game with a random stage select, you have to take that variance no matter what, and it can, that variance can decide the whole set. If you lose a game and you'll then have to choose between the character stage, it's in your hands at that point, right? So I don't think that's a matter. I think the matter is just in the first random stage select. So I think you can do stage striking, right? I mean, obviously what that would mean is that you probably wouldn't have an infinite stage game 1, right? And you probably wouldn't have a small walled stage game 1. I don't suppose that's a hugely bad thing. I think you can give arguments for and against, right? Like, say I'm against a character with really great wall carry like Dragonov or Nina or Lee, I might, in that scenario, actually prefer to pick a smaller walled stage, right? Then you get into the issue of how you, like, say I am against a lead player and I ban the small walled stages, or I ban the big walled stages like I ban in Temple, right? And the lead player bans infinite stages. Then how do you randomly determine what stage you pick after that? It's not something you can really do in the random stage select. You just can't program that functionality. It's a hell of a lot for the programmers to do, and they can't even add a goddamn skip button to the lobby system. Anyway, so what I would personally suggest as an alternative to the current system is that you get to ban an archetype of stages. Each player gets to ban an archetype of stages for the first set, and then you random select it some other way with some program. Smash players have literally a little device next to them at majors when they go up to the stage, where they can pick what stages they want to ban, and then it comes up what stage they pick, and then they just manually pick it with this little device, right? Like a little tablet or whatever. That's a bit extra. It is a bit extra, but I'm not saying it should happen. I'm saying it could happen, and it would potentially be better for the game as a whole if it did happen. So say I'm against a lead player, I ban large walled stages, which bans Abandoned Temple, it bans Geometric Plane, it bans Violet Systems, right? And the lead player bans infinite stages, so it bans Arctic Snowfall, Infinite Azure 1, Infinite Azure 2. And then the random select could be anything from the others. It could be Souk, it could be Howard Estate, it could be Jungle Outpost, it could be Devil's Pit, half infinite, half walled stage, right? I think that gets an in-between. So that way, that actually gives an advantage to the players who think more about what stages they're better against, they're better playing against certain characters on. It adds just a little bit more strategy to the whole competitive game as a whole. So that's what I think. I think you could do that. I'm not saying you should. I'm saying it's a possibility. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know if you enjoyed these little off-the-cuff little videos as well. I think this is something I'd like to do a lot more of. I think high quality, competitive, easy to digest Tekken content like the Pro Tekken history I did a little while ago is something, it's a little niche that isn't really on YouTube right now, and I'd like to see what I can do about that. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you'd like to see more like this. Give me suggestions of little competitive bits you'd like to see, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the live stream a bit later on the reveal, 1 AM BST. Yeah, check it out. I'm gonna do that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll see what gets announced. That's all for now. Take it easy, and bye bye.